Well, today my conversation is with Nikki Horner, who is a mother, a stylist, an artist. Thank you so much for talking with me here today.
Thanks for having me, Kim.
So, first thing I want to talk to you about is Seedling Studio. What is it and how did it come to be?
Seedling Studio is my styling business here in Kalamazoo. Kind of came from a place of I'm a classically trained artist, but also a stay-at-home parent. And so I was looking for a medium in my life that I could still be at home with my kids, but also work as an artist with a medium I love, which is our houses and our home.
You probably do maybe like a color consultation or something like that?
Yeah, if you would like to change your wall color, we would do a color consultation as well as a creative meeting where I would walk through the space. We would talk about what you feel like works and doesn't work. And then from there, I would take measurements and come home and give you a mood board so that you can see my design ideas sort of virtually. And then from there, we would work on sourcing products and I would come back into your home and style it and stage it for you in a way that feels.
I wish I would have known you when I moved into my new place in Kalamazoo. Yeah, when I was on your website going through some of your designs, it was just so relaxing to be able to look at. And you incorporate nature into your designs oftentimes, don't you?
I do, yeah. I grew up in Oregon where it's very lush and green. And for me, nature is just always a place where I connect and relax. So I try to put some of that into my interiors as well.
And in looking at all the different things that you do, because there's a lot of them, it kind of struck me as you're probably like you have to express yourself in all different ways. Is that true?
I think that you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I think I've been this way since I was a small child. I was already repainting my bedroom by the time I was 8, I think. And also, if I'm not creating, I don't feel like my truest self. So it's spread a little bit thin between my styling, painting, and being a fabric artist. But they're all, actually, there's a common thread to all of them, which is sort of minimalism in nature. And so it's really fun to explore.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see what that looks like.
Sure. So when I'm painting, I'm very messy, but essentially I'm taking a knife about this big.
And what are you painting on?
I'm painting on a wood panel that I've just coated with one layer of paint. I typically start with a black background. It helps me kind of focus in. And then I just have white oil paint here. And as I'm painting, I'm just kind of like intuitively making big smears, and very often pieces will come just from kind of working the paint like that.
I've never even thought of that before.
It's very calming.
Where does an abstract painting start for you? Where does the idea come from? How do you choose the colors?
That's a really great question. It kind of happens just organically. Abstract painting is hard for a lot of people to hold on to because it is abstract. It's not a subject, but I'll start by making little drawings and then I'll just start painting. And then from there, things start to develop. A common thread is these days is plants and earth and things like that. So I'll start to think of things. For example, this next series I'm doing is about seeds that are in the ground.
Now tell me about your painting, Pink Soul. That was one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you. I guess all of my work is derivative of also feelings that we have. And so I very often feel like most of us do, vulnerable. And so sometimes I think of my soul or my heart as in colors. And so pink is a very soft tone. And so I guess that's kind of where it came from.
So Nikki, can you tell me a little bit about how it's different painting with a palette knife as opposed to a brush?
Yeah, they feel really different when you're doing it, first of all, but also as you're painting, it's much less exact. So it's sort of like you could maybe decide to create a square that way, but it's going to be a very different feel than if you had used a brush to kind of swoop in and exactly make a square.
So would palette knives be more for abstract, or can you actually paint something fairly intricate?
I think you can paint things fairly intricate that way. It just takes a lot of dedication and little teeny ticks at a time. It's just going to give you a different texture than with a brush. So if you want something that's a little bit off the canvas, you would use something like a palette knife.
And it seems like that would add more dimension as well.
Yeah, I think that that's the main thing that a palette knife will do for you, is add texture and dimension.
And then you do, I was on your website, you have the neck cowls, you have the reusable bamboo cutlery set. How do you come up with all of those ideas? They're beautiful, everything on your website. It's just, it's one of those places where you can go and just get lost just in all the photos.
That's really nice, thank you. It's just sitting at home deciding what I would want in my life. I was looking at having reusable cutlery sets, and so I designed my own. The same with the neck cowls. I like wearing scarves, and I have had 2 neck cancers now, so I'm constantly trying to cover up sun and stuff like that. So that's kind of where the neck cowls came from.
How did that change you? Did it affect your work, your art?
Oh, yeah, it did. I was 19 the first time I had cancer. And I spent about a year recovering from that. So it was really life-changing, and I'm really grateful for that time. I think that it really changed my perspective on life. But specifically as an artist, for years I drew and painted sort of cells and abstract feelings about the cancer. But this past cancer was very easy and not a big deal. But I think that my work is always influenced by being a cancer survivor, just because I'm so grateful for this life. So.
Well, Nikki, thank you so much for talking with me here today. Mother, artist, stylist extraordinaire. Thanks so much for your time today. It was fun.
Thank you.
Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, helping to build and enrich the cultural life of Greater Kalamazoo.